Exactly.
Welcome back to Alabama Live on this Friday. We're talking cooking right now. Our good friend, Chef Mark Leslie, is in the house. He's got his own cookbook. He's been on the Today Show, and we are lucky enough to have him come by every once in a while when he's not off doing big-time things out of town. You're always on the run, working on plays, and you're in Denver, you're in Italy, so we can barely keep track of you.
Exactly.
But we're talking, it's, Halloween is this month.
Right.
We've got pumpkins, we've got gourds, and usually they're just, for most folks, decorations, but you're showing folks you can actually chop them up and eat them.
Yeah, exactly. When I lived in Italy, the biggest thing I like about, people always ask me, do you cook Italian all the time? And I really don't, but I like to cook in the style of Italian cooking, which means you're going to cook seasonally pumpkins now because we're in the fall, and you're also going to the fewest amount of steps possible from the ground to the table. So this is a really simple recipe. It's all these different kinds of pumpkins and squash. Actually, pumpkin is a squash, and you can actually eat them. So you might as well, when you're going to the farmer's market, going to the grocery store, it's not just a decoration. You can actually cook with these, and they're really good and really healthy for you.
I've never had a chopped up chunk like that and actually eaten it before. I always scoop out, get the seeds, and bake the seeds, but so this could be something new.
Yeah, exactly. And the pumpkins that you usually use for a jack-o'-lantern, that's really not a good pumpkin to use. It's the thin wall that's used for carving. What you really want to go is something like this, which is a blue pumpkin. There's buttercup squash. There's a cinderella pumpkin here. Those are all things that have a really thick flesh, and that's really what you go for. You're going to, just to cook a pumpkin, you're going to go ahead and take out the stem like you normally would. You can cut it off, and then you're going to cut out the seeds. You'll end up with a chunk.
It's almost like a piece of cantaloupe. If you didn't
exactly. And you're going to treat it just like that. You're going to cut it just like that. Once you take the seeds out of it, to get off the rind, you're just going to take a knife and you're just going to kind of chop around the outside of it to pull off the rind. It's really easy to do. Anything that's still left that's really green, obviously you're going to get rid of that because you don't want that in, it just takes longer to cook. You could eat it, it's not going to hurt you. So once you get rid of that, we're just going to cube it up. And what I like about this recipe is that the pumpkin, it's not too sweet. The recipe's not too sweet. Sometimes people go a little crazy with the pumpkin pies and sugar and all that. So you're going to take the cubed pumpkin, you're going to put it with apple, leave the skins on. We're going to put it with pear. You can use red pear, so you're going to get lots of color inside this dish.
Brighten things up with everything you make.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you eat with your eyes, and you want, when you're looking at this and you're making it, people are like, wow, that looks really good. And of course, it's going to taste good too. So you take this, you're going to put it into a buttered casserole dish, and this has raisins and pecans. If you were going to do this closer to Thanksgiving, instead of raisins, you could use dried cranberries. You could also use black currants. And you're just going to layer this in a baking dish. This is not difficult. As you can tell, we're not really cooking. We're just going to bake.
Yeah, you kind of buttered it up all along the sides and everything.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't stick. That's exactly right. So once you get that going, then we're going to make the topping for this. It's a cobbler. Obviously, that means there's a top. So we've got some sugar. We've got some flour, a little baking powder so you have something to rise. This is milk and butter. And we're going to put
these are simple ingredients too.
Simple.
Not something super fancy.
Oh,
most folks already have at home.
Oh, yeah, exactly right. And you're going to stir this together. Spoon, there we go. And you're going to stir this together to make the topping. Let me switch to the spatula here, get going faster. But yeah, it's really easy to make. You're just going to stir this into a, you're going to throw it all over the counter. Exactly right. Well, you know, we're just cooking in the kitchen. Once this is mixed up together, you're going to take it and you're going to pour it over the top of this so it totally covers all of the fruit. Put a top on it. That way the steam inside is going to help cook that pumpkin and cook the apples. I'm not going to take the time.
I've never seen the cobbler crust or shell made before like that. That's cool.
Let's see. How are we doing on time? Am I good?
We're doing good. Yeah, we got about a minute 30.
Oh, okay, we're good. Well, then I'm actually going to stir it.
Yeah.
So that's the topping here. Pretty good. And you're just going to take that and you're just going to pour it over the top of the fruit. Okay.
And it just kind of fills in the spaces, I guess, as you pour it in there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to cover the top. Now, actually, I'm doing a smaller dish than what you normally would use, and when I pull out the done one here in a second, you'll actually see how big it is. So you're actually just going to cover up all the fruit on here. You know, make it look pretty. Put a little swirl on it. Get your Martha Stewart on. This would be considered
a dessert, an appetizer, both?
Both. You know, actually, if you had a cup of coffee in the morning, you could eat this as breakfast. This is really something you want to eat as a dessert. It's a cobbler. You're going to use it as a dessert. Get rid of this. So you're going to take that and you're going to put that in an oven. You're going to bake it for an hour. And then when
the magic of television.
Yes, exactly.
It grew a little bit bigger and
that's right. So that's actually what it turns out to be. You get this cobbler, get this nice crust on the top. This one's still warm.
Yeah, it is.
And when we go to serve it, well, I think we're going to serve it up.
Let's do that.
Let's see if Jeff wants to get in here too.
Jeff, you want a piece of I made a little something for you. Yeah, come on over.
He's been cooking all morning and training for the
He
marathon.
has paid attention to Josh. Josh always kind of sneaks on over here, becomes part of it. It's a good
right.
segment.
So what you're going to do is you're going to end up here with this piece of cobbler. You can see all the fruit on it. And then just for a little bit of sweetness, we're going to just put a little powdered sugar over the top.
I feel like we're in New Orleans right now.
Exactly, a little beignet.
Yeah.
There you go. Here's a fork.
That is
There's yours. I'll get you some.
There you go.
You're up first.
You're
up first.
Okay. I'm
So
lead off.
really, what's great is that it's not overly sweet, so you're not going to, kill yourself with sugar, which is wonderful. You get a little crust on top, and then we're just going to, once again, a little powdered sugar. Fork. There you go.
Wonderful.
That was really
What'd you
good.
think?
And the pumpkin, it was similar to what I expected, but better than what I expected.
Yeah, because it's fresh. You're really going to get a lot of fresh flavor. It's not as sweet as you would think of a pumpkin pie, but you really get the taste of pumpkin in there. And that's what I like. I want people to think Italians treat pumpkin like a fruit. We treat it like a sweet dessert thing. Of course, I know this is a dessert, but they use it in soups. They just roast it with some Parmesan cheese and a little bit of olive oil. So they really treat it as an item all to itself, and I think this is a great way to do it. It's not just mashed up and pureed with a bunch of stuff.
I like
use
the
actually
big chunks.
Yeah, exactly. All
Good
of that.
stuff. Mark,
So,
we appreciate it as
thanks
always. I know
so
you're going to
much.
be out of town for a little bit. Can't wait to see you back here. Whenever that is, make it soon.
That's right. I'm already here.
Mark Leslie, we appreciate him as always. And good stuff here. Try this one at home. We'll put the recipe on our website, WSFA.com. Go to the food section. Make this thing yourself and really impress your friends.